Talking with Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury. Also in Marine Law Enforcement Coordinator for Washington State Parks, Hoyle Hodges. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
Thanks for coming in and talking with me this morning. Casey, you brought in this guest during your time here, so please introduce us.
Well, Hoyle, as you said, is from Washington State Parks Boating, and last week or week before we talked a little bit about what was going on with our Marine Patrol program, and I tried to explain to you with the best I could, but of a program that our guys were involved in with our new boat. And I was talking to Hoyle on the phone the other day, and he was actually one that helped set that course. So I thought he would be more informed to tell you what that's about. We also, earlier this year, we'd applied for a grant through Hoyle's office and received a grant for an item called a FLIR. And I'll let him explain that to you as well. So I think I'll turn it over to you and Hoyle this morning.
All right, Hoyle, thanks for coming on. You do work for Washington State Parks, the Marine Law Enforcement Coordinator. So does that mean you oversee all of the water in the state? Or
no, the way that it's structured in Washington State by the legislature is that Washington State Parks, for whatever reason, is in charge of marine law enforcement training.
Okay.
As well as the recreational boating program for Washington State is housed in Washington State Parks. So we have a big education outreach side of what we're doing as well for the general public. And what I do is I'm the person that handles, we have basically grants and agreements with 53 state and local agencies all across the state. And so I arrange all the different trainings from our basic Marine Law Enforcement Academy to enhanced vessel operation courses, boating under the influence courses, personal watercraft for law enforcement courses, a variety of courses that we run all under the auspices of an organization called NASBLA, which is the National Association for Boating Law Administrators, which is a national organization that has the Memorandum of Understanding with the Coast Guard for marine law enforcement training.
Wow.
So that was a mouthful, and I apologize for all the acronyms and stuff. But yeah, so each year we run in the fall, generally mid-September, we run a marine law enforcement conference.
Okay.
So 3 years ago, we were out at Lake Chelan, and we kind of ran a circuit of different events, training events out there. And last year, we were in Tacoma, and we ran 6 enhanced vessel operation courses surrounding the conference. And this year, we did kind of a change-up. We went up to Everett, and we partnered with the Maritime Security West Conference. And I wanted to do that so that our local law enforcement, marine law enforcement agencies would get the federal perspective of what's going on, is from Customs and Border Patrol, the Coast Guard, and then their counterparts across the border as well, with the Royal Canadian Mounted Police and the Canadian Coast Guard, and then a few other lettered agencies as well, Department of Homeland Security, so that they would see some of the issues and problems that cross the border. And that's not just in the Puget Sound region, but there's lakes that cross the border over in eastern Washington where we have smuggling problems and immigration problems and all kinds of stuff. So, and there's always that interoperability, interagency kind of training that we want to do as well. So this year we set up as our on-the-water training event, we had a predicted log race. And it doesn't have anything to do with wood or trees.
Okay.
A log is what you keep on a boat to record your different waypoints and how long it takes you to get from point A to point B on a boat, and what the weather conditions were and all that. So basically what we did is we took away all their electronics, gave them a chart, and they had to, old school, with charts, figure out how to get from point A to point B, and then deduce how long it was going to take them down to, the millisecond.
Oh, wow.
And that's where the predicted and predicted log racing comes in, is they try and figure out exactly how long it's going to take to run this course. So I had some help from the International Power Boating Association. Bill Anderson and his folks came in and really helped us run this race, just out of the goodness of their hearts. And they're kind of the governing body for predicted log races. And they had never done one that most of the races happen at like 7 to 8 miles an hour.
Okay.
But our boats all go 30 to 40 miles an hour. So this is probably the fastest predicted log race in history, as well as the only marine law enforcement predicted log race in history that I'm aware of.
Wow.
And it was a 43-mile course all over the north part of Puget Sound. And the guys from Mason County won that. And they did that by being thoroughly familiar with their vessel. Because the only way that you can actually, you have a countdown timer, and then you have to know what the RPMs on your boat equal as far as time and speed. And so they had been out and they'd rehearsed and they knew their vessel well enough that they were able to actually do very good. I forget the exact amount of time, but they came in probably within 3 to 4 minutes of what they had predicted.
Casey, that's going to make you feel very proud.
Well, yes, I do, and the guys that were on there, I'm thrilled with that. And I think, Jeff, the thing is as you know, when you're sheriff, I call it, you're always begging for dollars. And over the years, 9 years, every single thing that we've ever went in and asked for, we've produced with. And to be able to provide examples of that, especially there's this big controversy over the boats and other people telling us how to run our program. And, you know, we came out a couple of years ago as one of the top Marine Patrol agencies. And I thought that maybe we'd be allowed to run our own boating program at that point. And then we're constantly being, you know, overseen and overrode by other people, and we went in and worked very hard to get this new boat, and went through a lot of hoops to put it on the water, and our people come out and they perform well with it again, and it just shows that everything that we've asked for, our people go out and they perform well with. But most importantly for us, for our community, and even those that come here during the summertime, is the safety aspect of having people on the water that know what they're doing when we have a boating safety emergency or water response, and having those guys out there, it gives me a great deal of confidence, and it should the general public the work that they're doing. So I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that. And also this year, I asked Hoyle to talk about, we apply for grants, so everything that we get isn't from the taxpayer county dollars. We apply for a lot of grants for our boating issues and other things. And this year we received a grant for an item called a FLIR that go on that boat. And I'll let Hoyle tell you what that does, because it's a very important piece of equipment.
Are these the infrared cameras that you see?
Right. This is a FLIR. FLIR stands for forward infrared looking radar.
Okay.
And it is basically a white hot or a black hot. You can switch in between camera that is mounted on boats that enable really 24/7 all-weather operations.
Wow! And
so, part of our duties we're the recreational boating safety program for Washington State is we have to look. We hand out a lot of grants, and we don't just hand those out equitably across the state. Everybody gets the same amount. We have to look where the need is, and where our dollars are going to do the most to enhance basically the safety of our citizens out on the water. When you look at the unique geography of Mason County and the Hood Canal, and it's the only fjord in the lower 48 states, and being a fjord, it's very, very deep, and there's not a lot of safe anchorages. You go from hundreds of feet deep to 20 feet deep in the blink of an eye. And so being able to have a vessel, they went out and they got a used Coast Guard safe boat, they're called, which was a standard response boat, small, for the Coast Guard for many years, and have fixed that up. And part of making that boat fully operational so that it could go anywhere that it needs to in the sometimes very rough waters of Hood Canal at night, daytime, and find somebody in the water was getting them the FLIR. And so we were more than happy to do that. Not only does it enhance the safety of the citizens out on the water, but it also helps those officers because every time they go out on that vessel, they're at risk.
Sure.
And so anything that we can do also to keep the officers safe as well, so that they're out there to do again and again, is a big part of what we do.
So somebody unfortunately has fallen into the water. The respondents are called. They come to the scene. They look through the camera if it's dark out, and they'll be able to distinguish a different heat signature than the surrounding water. Is that kind of? That's
exactly how the FLIRs work. Is it's a temperature differential. And so not only does it find people in the water, but it can find, just running and deadheads, big logs are out in the water that can damage your boat, that kind of thing. So it really helps you get to the scene of the incident, and then it helps while you're at the incident site. And so if if you're a citizen of Mason County and you end up in the water for whatever reason, your chances of being recovered are significantly increased.
Casey, this could take minutes off of a rescue, a potential rescue, couldn't it? And that's what you need in these situations.
Yes, you know, in the last few years, we've had a number of rescues where our folks, in cooperation and collaboration with the tribe and the Washington State Department of Wildlife, have saved people. And I think the other important piece to this is we have tremendous neighboring partners with both tribal organizations, because they spend a lot of time on the water, and the folks at the Washington State Department of Wildlife. And so when we get these kind of operations going on, or along with the Coast Guard, it's kind of whoever is closer, but we work cooperatively. So if they need assistance from our Marine Patrol unit to assist the tribe with something, we can go their direction, or with wildlife, or during shrimping and boating season, we get on the water as much as possible. So all these things are tremendously helpful in a county that has so much water. I think people forget about, you know, our land miles are one thing, and it's very challenging, as you know, in Mason County to get around on land because of the bodies of water in between. But it's just as challenging when you've got the different bodies of water that we have to move across. And again, the thing that I try to make clear, and a lot of people don't understand about our community and our waterways, they say, well, why do you have to have at least 3 boats? Well, we have 3 distinct bodies of water. They don't all touch. And I think sometimes people think that our bodies of salt water, you can just boat from one right to the next and then right into the lake. Well, it's not. When you look at a map, it's not accessible like that. And so we have 3 distinct bodies of water that we have to be able to get on at any time. And,
sure.
And these boats and these items that we've got through Washington State Parks, how much safer it makes it for our community, and makes it safer for our deputies that are out on the water.
Talking with Mason County Sheriff Casey Salisbury, and also from State Parks, the Marine Law Enforcement Coordinator for Washington State Parks, Hoyle Hodges. Just about wrapping up here with time out to go, but thank you so much, Hoyle, for coming in and talking to us about this. Good on the Mason County Sheriffs and the deputies there winning that predicted log. That's got to be a great thing, too, is, you know, we're so reliant on technology. For all that to go away and then still be able to get to their destinations when they're supposed to and understand their timings, that's got to be just...
They did a great job.
That is really
great. They really did.
That's really cool. Hoyle, Casey, thanks for coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Good to see you guys. Nice to meet you.